The voice of Ghana's youth in the national dialogue. What exactly am I referring to? Was a series of discussions with university students on different campuses across Ghana. And that is why today we are here at the University of Ghana, Legon, to engage the students here. We want to know their lifestyle, what they are studying, what are their future plans, and most importantly, how they feel about the happenings and events in the country. So this is going to be a series of discussions that we'll be having with young people in various campuses across the country. So today we are here at the University of Ghana, Legon. You're watching us on Sankofa Online TV as we engage the young people in Ghana, the future leaders, and what their thoughts are on happenings and events in Ghana. So you're still watching the series of conversations concerning national issues with students on campuses across the country. And currently we are here at the University of Ghana, Legon, and I'm here with some students of the University of Ghana, Legon. I think this is Mawonyo, and then I have Perpetual and Celeste, and then Daniel. Manuel, in which level, please?
Level 300.
Level 300. What are you studying?
Nutrition and food science.
Oh, wow, okay. And then Daniel?
I'm a graduate student of the University of Ghana School of Communication Studies.
Okay. And then Perpetual?
Celeste.
Celeste.
Yes. Level 300, studying English and education.
English
And education, yeah.
Okay.
Level 300, studying English and education.
Any particular reason for that particular course?
Well,
So you finished 400 with that particular course?
yes, please, majoring in education and minoring in English, yes.
And then with education, would you be teaching? What are the future career paths that you have? What are you looking forward to?
So education is not mainly about teaching, but then with with the particular one that you are offering, it has to do with teaching. Yeah, so we will be taking the teaching, but then there are as well other students that are not teachers. They are non-teachers, so we have teachers and non-teachers.
Because we know that lots of people complain that teaching is not too lucrative in the country. Unfortunately, we are not paying our teachers too well in the country. So if you decide not to look or follow the path of teaching, which other career paths would you then have? Which other choices do you have?
Well, with the non-teaching students, they also have minor courses that they are undertaking. So, for instance, we have students in information studies, and they are minoring in information studies. So after that, information studies basically boils down to computing and stuff. So you can go into computing if you don't really want to go into. So it depends on the course that you're doing. There are people doing fixers with it, so you can take that path if you're a non-teaching student. And it wouldn't have to be it. So those are.
And how about you?
Well, I am doing education because I love it. I chose it knowing exactly what I was going in for. And I've always wanted to be a teacher. I want to be a lecturer.
On campus here?
Yes, or in higher institutions. You know, I've always wanted to go to Oxford, but if I was not able to be there as a student, I could as well be there as a teacher. So, yeah.
So after your first degree, would you be looking at probably doing something like a teaching assistant or something to prepare you further for lecturing?
No, I do not want to be a teaching assistant here on campus. I want to go to the school and get experience from students, like not high students. I want to start from the senior high school and then get experience how to handle children, like so to say. So I do not want to be a teaching assistant. No, I don't. I want to go to the classroom and then meet younger students. Yeah, get to know how they think, how they respond to good teaching, how best I could help them. Yeah, so that's
It is interesting to know that with the two of you, at least, your career cut is actually clearly cut for you. Because teaching, I don't think it's too difficult to become teachers in the country, is it? It is difficult.
To me, it's difficult, especially if you have to handle it from the secondary level. You know, we talk about foundation a lot. So if a student doesn't have a proper foundation, and I happen to be a teacher handling the students in the set, yeah, you have a lot of challenges. And with learning, well, we are in an inclusive education, and so it wouldn't be. And there are a lot of learning disabilities that are very, hidden within us. But then, if I don't have a proper foundation whereby my parents or my teacher in that basic level was able to identify these learning disabilities that I have, and then I carry on with it through to the secondary school, it's my teacher that I'm going to disturb, because she has to take me through. Well, for us, we know, and I know that there are lots of teachers who also know, but then they don't really pay attention to it. So you could tell that students will be having challenges reading, and you a teacher will probably be thinking, so don't you know that in this stage you should be able to read, and as that, and you don't understand that this child probably is having a learning disability, which wasn't identified in the earlier stages of his or her life, and in order to give support to him. So that is how challenging teaching could be.
There's a misconception about food science and nutrition, which is, so people think it's home economics, but it's not home economics. It's actually science. It's a study of the chemicals and then the components of food. So it is not actually like cooking food, but it is the study of food. So then that is what nutrition and food sciences. So then, and then nutrition comes with like the body, the nutrients, and then like it looks to the blood and then all that. And then food science also goes to industrial work. So let's say what goes into the processing, what goes into the preparation. So then nutrition also goes, food science also goes all the way to the farm. So then we look at how farmers take care of their foods and all that. So then that is what it's about.
What are you looking forward to after school?
Okay, so I'm looking forward to being in the hospital or in the industry. So in the sense that we have a whole lot of opportunities in the industry, such as the sensory evaluation, and then people who test the food to check if it is viable for consumers to eat. And then there's another aspect to that deals with like what I said before, the farm part. So then you go to the farm to go and check if the farmers are doing what they do. Yeah. And then, but usually it doesn't happen. So we are just trying to see if we can change that by getting into the industry and then doing that work. And then with the hospital too, it comes with like studying about people's behavior and then their food patterns. Some people used to eat something like, let's say, Better Malt. Like somebody is just saying, okay, Better Malt also gives energy, so then why not go for Better Malt than go and eat a full meal? So that's also something like a misconception, because what the food will give you, the drink won't give you. So then that is what I'm looking forward to.
What are you looking forward to doing after school? Are you already working?
Well, not full time. I do freelance work. Okay, so the
Freelance journalism or something else?
rapportering, editing, or how do you call it, audio transcription and all those things, editing, yeah. So I also have interest in lecturing. But the thing is that our education system is quite full of theories. We go to the school to learn so many theories and there's no practical. So I want to gain more experience in the corporate world before I come back to the academia. So finish school, get a job, gain more experience, practical experience, and then come back to the academia to teach students what is going on in the corporate world. That is what I'm interested in. Yes.
So after getting to know our students here, now let's get into our discussions. So let's look at the security institution first in the country and how they manage their affairs. We are young people, and the older generation keeps referring to younger people as the future leaders. So I want to know your thoughts on these issues. Let's take the security agency first. Just recently, we know how the military treated journalists in the country. I want to know your views on that. Do you agree with some of the things that happens in the country? Do you feel safe as young people in the country?
Well, for safety, I can't guarantee my safety in this country. But the point is that when it comes to media freedom, the Constitution guarantees it. But then again, there are limitations. But I can't say that it is appropriate for the security forces to assault media people. It is not right. If there's an issue, they should be able to address it. Going to the freedom of Ghanaians, I think that we all have the freedom of movement, freedom of speech, and whatsoever freedoms. But I don't think that the security forces are doing well enough to protect Ghanaians. There's too much corruption, if I'm to be honest. The point is that we expect the security forces to enforce the laws, but They are not. When you take a Trotsky, for instance, you sit in it, the police stops a driver, and then they pay 2 cedis or 3 cedis and they walk away. The point is that the man goes scot-free, but they are putting people's lives at risk. If there's an accident, it is we, the people who are in society, who are going to suffer. It is not the police officer. He goes home free, but then something happens on the road, and you are the one who is in trouble. So we need to change our attitudes. The corruption is too much, honestly. It becomes something that we talk about every day, but then nothing is being done about it. But the point is that we need to change our attitudes. It is very important. Yes.
Do you feel safe as a young person? Do you feel that if you should ever have an issue or any challenge at all, and you enter the offices of a security agency, your issues will be tackled, well handled?
Talk of safety. Well, Ghanaians have always been said to be peaceful. But then I call that cowardice because we feel that, let's not do it, let's not do that. Well, at the end of the day, we want to be a peaceful country. But this sort of peace that we keep talking about, it's a...
We are timid, so we don't talk. And so everybody says that we are peaceful.
And I think it's just that most of us have not come to the notion that sitting down and not talking is the best solution. A lot of us feel, why do I have to talk? After all, it is... I mean, I don't even want to go and involve myself in any issue of violence. Let me be in my corner. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. After all, it's the politician's duty to do that. It's not me. Well, to me, safety in this country has a very big question attached to it. And I would want to be a little bit religious to say God will protect me. But if I'm to put my trust in what the security services of this country, in the security forces in this country, I have none of such trust. My trust is just in God. Yes.
The point is that if you are safe, it's not because the police officers are protecting you. It's because you are hiding in your corner. So they are not really doing things to protect us. We are trying to protect ourselves by avoiding trouble. That is the point. So it's not because Ghana police exists that is why I'm safe. It's because I do not want trouble and I'm staying in my room. That is why I'm safe. Yes.
Okay, now those are very interesting viewpoints. The fact that if you are safe or you feel that you are being peaceful, it's not because the security agencies in the country is protecting us, no. But it's because we don't want any problems, and so we are staying in our corners and keeping quiet. And that is why we think we are safe. Now, still on the issue of, since we're talking about peace and all that, assuming you should ever have the opportunity to be in a big position in this country, are there any things, or like as in a leadership position, are there any particular things you'd want to change when it comes to protecting the sanity of Ghanaians in the country?
I think it goes back to the economy. The people who are joining the police service are not joining because they have passion for security. They are joining because they feel that it is government work and they're going to get money from there. So they go there unconcerned for the citizens. So if we have a system that works properly, everybody gets to do what they want to do. And then there's passion over there. I'm passionate about communication. So if I'm doing it, if something comes up, surely I'll be interested in doing it. So if I go and join the police force, I don't have interest in the police force. I'm there for the money. So if somebody comes with the issue, why would I be interested in solving it? No, why wouldn't I be interested? That is the problem we have in our country. That is the problem. Yes.
So I'll come in and say, from the phrase "charity begins at home," sometimes our parents be like, "Okay, Kwame is doing this, so then you two go and do this." So like, it's not something we want to do. Sometimes some people in my department actually join the department not because they want to do what is there, but it's as their, like, let's say, final choice. They don't have anywhere to go anymore, so then they have to do that. And so with his work, with what he said, it comes to passion. So then if you don't have the passion for what you are doing, you just do it anyhow and then you walk away.
We're still looking at the voice of Ghana's youth in the national dialogue, and I'm here with other students as well. We have a short discussion with them, find out their views, what is happening in the country, about their studies, and their future plans as well. May I know your name, please?
Yasmin.
Yasmin. And then you are
Parisha.
Parisha. Thank you.
Mufida. Mufida.
Mufida. Hey, these are your names. Mufida, Yasmin, and then Parisha. Okay. What are you studying and which level are you in?
Level 400, political science and French.
Political science and
French.
French. Such a weird combination. I'll come back to you.
Level 300, nutrition and food science.
Okay.
Level 400, political science.
Just political science. Wow. What are you looking at to become in the future? President or something else?
Maybe a political analyst.
Political analyst. They would have to invite you one day on television to talk about wow, I like that. Political science and French. Very weird combination. How did you decide on these two?
I'm quite good with languages, so I decided to further with French and political science because I wanted to know more about my country, how to develop it, like any little way I can help, because I've lived in Ghana all my life, and looking at the situation we are in is not the best and it's not the worst as well, but there's more room for improvement here.
I was saying the combination is weird, but looking at it, I think it's a very, very interesting combination and probably a very wise one as well, because we know that there are times when people are looking for jobs, people are looking for opportunities. They always say that if you have an additional international language attached to your experiences, then probably you might be in the lead of getting the job better than your other colleagues. So that's probably a very interesting one. Then food science, right?
Yeah, nutrition.
Okay. So what are you looking at becoming after school?
Uh,
I've been educated a bit on the sciences, the food sciences, and the nutrition. Some of the things you can become. So, but you in particular,
Parisha.
Parisha.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of the name?
Sincerity.
Sincerity.
Yeah. So after school, I'm thinking of bringing out products. Yeah, developing the products like in the area of fermentation. Yeah. So bringing out a whole new product, a fermented product. Yeah. That's what I've thought of developing.
So you want to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah. That's another thing I want to become.
And now political science student.
So, yeah, I want to be a political analyst. Yeah, because of all the issues happening in the country. In school, we study theories. In real life, we don't even practice what we study. And even with that, we study what happened in the 18th century, and it doesn't apply today. So I want to be someone who will be able to analyze the issues happening in the country and be able to find lasting solutions to it. That is what I want to do.
I'm happy you mentioned finding lasting solutions, because practically almost every morning we hear political analysts on television, on radio, talking a lot. We talk about a lot of the issues in Ghana, what is happening in the country. And it's like everybody has a voice, everybody knows what is happening, what is going wrong, what the challenges are. Now, the solutions, some of them might have solutions and they talk about the solutions, but are we seeing the solutions happening? She also talked about the fact that there are so many things happening in the country that isn't right and all that. Now, let's delve into those issues, some of the things that is happening in the country that isn't right. I was earlier on talking to the other students about, we first look at some of the institutions in the country that might not be doing the right thing all the time. The security agencies, for instance. Now, in most countries, the institutions that build up the country help in its development. The police force and the military. We've had issues where people have complained about some of the activities that they get involved in. Do you feel safe as young people in this country? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like if there's a problem, you are safe, or somebody is there that can help protect you? When you think about the security agencies in the country, do you feel safe?
Okay, so for me, my first point of call won't be
the police if I find myself in trouble, because usually, not all, but maybe most of them would like something in return. Like if maybe they'll expect you to tip them, they'll expect you to like maybe, or you can even call the police and they will tell you that they don't have fuel in the car, so they can't come and help you and blah blah blah. So you really can't depend on them. Yes, I don't think.
So who would you run to first if you should have a problem?
Maybe my parents.
Okay. Do you feel safe as a young lady?
Not at all. Because upon the news that's reaching us, especially when you go to social media, today there's a murder, someone has murdered the father, tomorrow someone has murdered the girlfriend, boyfriend. There are a whole lot of issues. And right now, I feel that the best thing to do is that to put, you should be security minded. Like when you're walking around, going out, meeting people, talking to people, those that you allow into your vicinity and everything, you need to be mindful. You should be security wise, because the security system that we have, the police, the military, and the rest, they feel like the government is not supporting them, so they are relaxing. They are not putting in any effort to protect us. They are just involved in they feel that their work should be supported by the government in the way that the finances, in terms of finances, they are not getting it, and they feel that with that they can't protect the citizens. Yeah, so right now I feel that we have to be security wise. Yeah.
So one is saying that with her, when it comes to being safe, she's probably going to run to her parents first. And then Parisha also believes in being secured yourself. So relying on yourself and not the security agencies. That's rather unfortunate for young women in the country not to actually believe that they can rely on our security agencies. How about you?
Well, we cannot rely on the security agencies because these days everything has become political. If you have an issue with someone who is related to a high political figure, definitely the person will have authority over you in any security agency. I don't also blame the security agency because it is poverty and then inadequate conditions of service that is making them act the way they do. If they were paid well and then they were given the appropriate logistics, they wouldn't have been acting the way they are. Of course, if you are hungry and then someone gives you something, you will definitely do the burdens of the person. So with the security agencies, you can never rely on them because we've seen cases where innocent people are imprisoned just because someone somewhere in power asked the security agency to do that. So we can't rely on them at any time.
We know that the unemployment situation in the country is a disaster. So I don't want to even get into all that. But assuming you have the opportunity to become leaders in the country, what are some of the things that you would want to do to change some of the situations in the country?
Well, with me, if I should become a very big political figure in this country,
Could be the president.
yeah, what I would like to change is the way we do our campaigns, like the electoral system. We shouldn't put much pressure on politicians to give us money before we vote them into power. That is where the corruption comes in, because when the politician finally gets that position, he or she feels that yes, I have invested so much money in where I am today, so definitely I should reap triple of that. We should allow them develop our communities. That is the most important thing. Any little thing, a politician, and the politicians too have made it look like they are the gods of the nation. If you need anything, you have to come to them. Right now, if you need admission into the university, you need to get a strong political figure to come back you, get the particular course you want. When you go for job interviews, people already have the job, but then they will not let you know they have the job. You just come for nothing. I want to change the mindset of Ghanaians that it is not the politicians who have to put food on your table before you vote for them. Vote for a politician based on their works.
People expect reliable electricity supply, potable water, good road networks, maybe affordable cost of living and all that. So if I get the opportunity to become, someone big in this country, I think that's what I'm going to work on. And it's not just about the government, it's about the people too. The Ghanaians have to change their mindset about how they see things. I think if we change our mindsets, coupled with good governance, we can surely get there. Yeah.
One particular area that I will look at is the food system because of So with the food system, the way our food is transported, you see, most of where our food comes from the rural areas, and most of these rural areas, when you look at the sanitary environment, it is very poor, and their roads too. You see, they need to carry the things and bring it to the city for us to get food, access to food. Their roads are very poor. You see, with the way that our market women today handle the food, sometimes it's very pathetic because they end up introducing a lot of microorganisms and contaminating the food. And then with the contamination, it goes a long way to affect our health. So when I'm in a position, I make sure that the food from the rural areas, the roads connecting the rural area to the urban, I make sure that the roads are properly constructed so that the access to it will be better, and then we have hygienic food to consume.
Fuel prices in the country has gone up again. Does it in any way affect you young people?
Yes, please, because anytime there's tax increase, our transportation increases. We are students. Every day we leave our houses to school. We pay. Today when we're coming, we paid much for Chocho. Usually it's 2 cedis. Today they took 2 cedis, 60 pesos.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, it's a lot of money. 60 pesos can buy water. They took that, and prices of goods in the markets are always on the ascendancy. It's not nice.
It affects everybody because an increase in transport prices has impacts on other stuff. So that means food will increase because it's the same transport system that brings the food to the urban areas and all that. So everything will increase little by little. It affects everybody. And if you are not working, and then you'd have to pay for your rent, you have to go out, do job interviews and all that. Where are we expected to get the money from? So if at least things are increasing, stuff like that, there should be jobs also available so that maybe youth can work, get the money, so that you know that you are not spending your money in vain. You are actually working and then getting something, because it's terrible.
I feel that when the government wants to find financial assistance, then he will look at, okay, let's increase taxes so that we will get some money from there. I feel that the government should look at other areas such as tourism and the importation of finished goods. Because when we import the raw goods, the value is very low, so we tend not to have a lot of money from it. But when we process it, we get more money. So he should look at the other alternatives other than everyday taxes upon all. That one doesn't help. Yeah.
So we've heard a lot of interesting comments from this table, where the youth of the University of Ghana feel that if they are in certain situations, they will not rely first on our security agencies. And also when it comes to food security, making sure that the roads are very accessible to our farmers, and then the food that they are getting from these farms to other places are also kept in hygienic conditions. And then also the fact that these young people have good career paths ahead of them, and the courses they are studying in the university, even though they feel that it is a bit too theoretical, they're also looking at how they can make it practical for themselves, with the young lady wanting to be an entrepreneur. And the fact that the taxes situation in the country, the government should actually look at how they can look into different areas than rather raising taxes when they want to make a little more money in other in order to be able to run the country well. So these have been very interesting discussions on this table. I'll move to another table and then find out their views on these issues as well. So our discussions are centered on the voice of Ghana's youth in the national dialogue. And today we are here at the University of Ghana, Legon, where we want to engage some of the students here to find out their future plans after school and what the happenings in the country. What are their views on that as well? We know that young people are the future leaders of this country. So what are they looking up to when it comes to the older generation and how they are running things in the country? And I'm very happy to be here today at the University of Ghana, Legon, with some students here and find out who they are, what they are studying, the levels they are in, and what their future plans are. And so you are?
Keto Desmond Dela. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jewel, Na Anyeli.
Na Anyeli. Yeah. I'm not Ameli anyway.
Okay, I'm Nancy, also Aqua.
Nancy, I'll keep Nancy in mind. Okay. So what level are you in, Nancy?
I'm in level 300.
I'm assuming the rest of you are in 300 as well. Okay. So then level 300, what are you studying?
I'm combining political science and geography.
Political science and geography.
Same.
I am majoring in geography instead, but I also study political science.
Now, speaking to the other students, they've complained about the fact that studies on campus is too much centered on theories. So it's theory, and hardly any practicals. You are doing geography, you are studying political science. How has the studies been like? Too centered on theory as well for you? Has it been a bit practical? And if it should have been practical, what are some of the things that you'd have expected from your lectures and from the school?
Okay, I think it's quite manageable. It's not mostly theory because I'm doing remote sensing and GIS. It's an elective in geography, but then we did practicals. Mostly we did match practicals, and most of the classes were face to face. It's just one that we did online. It was even a holiday, and the lecturer forced to organize the class for us. But then political science, political science, reading, practice, practical stuff. The practical based on what we've learned or what's going on in the country. So I think geography, it's not really theory, but then we have much to do.
Now, with the courses that you are studying, what are some of the things that you hope that you can become in future? Yeah, majoring in geography and then minoring in political science. Any particular career choice in mind?
Many, or mainly two. Definitely, I would love to become a geography lecturer, and I would also love to do communications like yourself. Yes, so those are the two dreams that
Currently, I'm studying for my master's here with the Communication Studies department anyway, so.
For me, communication studies is good. Doing law will be very nice as well, but the world is for us, so any opportunity that comes our way, we have to accept it. And now there's no job opportunity when you complain. People are complaining. And so whatever I lay my hands on, I will do it and do it perfectly. I might become better in whatever I'm doing. Yeah.
You see, when growing up, you have a lot of things in mind, but then because I remember nursing, teaching, even being a police officer. But then looking at critical things and situations, I want to go into marketing. I know it's a very tough one, but I have that in mind, low-key. And then I'm also thinking of law, though I don't have much interest in it. But then if any opportunity of that sort comes, I'll surely grab it. But then I have marketing in mind.
Since I'm doing political science and all that, now let's look at some of the things that is happening in the country. Let's first look at Galamsey and the fact that currently there's a lot of issues concerning Galamsey, and we heard that excavators were burnt. I didn't see any being burnt actually, but then we've heard that some said there were a couple of videos online that the excavators were truly being burnt. Now we've heard the concerns of citizens in the country. Probably you might also have your own concerns. The fact that we had arable lands that we could farm, we could do great things on these lands, water bodies, and then now Galamsey is destroying our water bodies and then our arable lands. What are your views on these?
I think first we should tackle where it's coming from. If you put a stop at the port that they shouldn't bring any machine, then we get to know the industries having it or the companies selling it. We go and know that, okay, this month you have about 5 excavators over there. So when somebody comes to purchase it, you can track the person and locate where he or she is taking the machine to. We did some research, political research, and then mine was into Galamsey in Wasa East constituency. And then per what I read about it, I learned we have a lot of sightings. But then you ask, the sightings are in the town. The authorities, what are they doing over there? We have the local authorities over there. So I think they are not really helping us, and then I think it all comes back to job creation. If you have jobs in the country, everybody gets something to do with it. I don't think anybody will go and risk his or her life into Galamsey. Yes.
For me, I have problem with the diplomatic conditions that are being used or done in this country. As in these Chinese nationals, when our people do something in China, they are not being deported to Ghana. They are being jailed. Yeah, and then these people, they catch them at the site doing something wrong. They are polluting our rivers and other stuff. And then we leave them, or we think they should be deported to their country for them to be jailed or to be dealt with. Whilst the water body here is destroyed. Yes. And then they are going back to their country where they have good water, being jailed there. They will even enjoy their...
It's not even be jailed there.
Yes. And so I think that is very bad. Something I see like is really pressing, something they have to look at.
It's sad. It's really sad. And I think the reasons why they are banning the machines is because I think there was a previous issue where the machines were seized and they were placed around the aviation road. I use that route home, so it's there. And then many people go back to reclaim it, and then they claim they can't find their machines. So it is these very same authorities that sell them to certain, agencies to use. And I think it all comes down to the individual, because from the very home, we are corrupt.
Now, before I let you go, assuming you one day have the opportunity to be at the top position, to be leaders of this country, what are some of the things that you think you might change or you think you might do to make sure some of the things are done right in the country?
We really need to create jobs. I think we can do job creation, like we can engage in farming. I really want to do agriculture because comparing the income that we are generating from it, it's very quite large, it's very quite huge, and I think that's what is taking most of the developmental activities in the country. We go for loan, but then the agriculture, the income we are getting is expanding a lot of things in the country. So agriculture wise, I'm in for it. And then I think we need to check our security system. We have a lot of agencies in charge of security, and it's just quite disheartening. You don't really see what they are doing.
I think character reformation is something that we have to look at. If we change the character of our politicians, we know they are the office of the Auditor General is there. If it's functioning well, the office of the Special Prosecutor, if these bodies are functioning well, declaration of assets, if these things are working well, the system is working well, it means it's going to work. So when you are coming to office or you are coming to office, you know that these are the assets you have.
I feel like it's not what am I going to do, it's more of what are we going to do. It's not enough for me to want change and my brother or my sister not to want change. It's not enough. All of us need to come together. So if I say I want change and you want change and all of us want change, but you see, one thing we need to put in mind is even when all of us want change, the change we want to see is not going to be immediate, because the damage that has been done over years, centuries. So it's going to take maybe twice the time it took to do the damage to make it right. So all of us have to be willing to sacrifice. That is if we want to, like, let me say, some traditionalists will say, if we want to rejoice in our graves. So we all have to come together and be willing to make this sacrifice for the greater good of the country. Otherwise, we'll keep saying, ebe, but enye.
The youth of Ghana is disappointed. They are disappointed. They are sad. And they wish certain things can be done to change it. At the same time, they are aware that it cannot take just a minute. It won't take a day to get things changed unless we all come together. It's a collective effort. So we all need to come together to start fixing ourselves, be able to fix the country and to get things right. So I hope together with you, with me, with us, we can all work together to fix things in this country. So stay tuned as we bring you further series in other campuses as well.